Hello there, and welcome to this short video about how to safely back up data. Backing up data is where you create multiple copies of something. So data is maybe a file. So it could be a photo, a text document, it could be an email, text message, anything which you've created is data. And it's really important to have a backup of our important data. The reason for this is there are loads of ways that we can lose data. So we might accidentally delete something, but from a cybersecurity perspective, we're also going to be thinking about something called ransomware. Now, ransomware is a really big problem. It's one of the most popular types of malware attack at the moment. And what it does is ransomware gets onto your device, it locks all of your files up in code so you're not able to open them, and it demands that you pay a ransom to get them back. If you pay that ransom, there is no guarantee you will get your files back. So once you've been hit by ransomware, it really is too late to recover your stuff. So to avoid this and to avoid any of the other ways which we could accidentally lose data, we're going to think about something called the 3-2-1 rule for backing up data. It's a really simple rule, and I'm going to talk you through it and explain the easiest way of making sure we meet this criteria. But basically, the 3-2-1 rule says we want to have 3 different copies of our data. So if you've made a file, maybe you've taken a photo, you want to have 3 different copies of it. And that way, if you've got just one copy and it gets deleted, you're stuck. If you've got 3 copies, though, you're not stuck if you accidentally delete one or if one's accidentally corrupted or stolen. And we want to have these in 2 different media. I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. But first, here are my 3 copies of a file. I put them all on my PC, which gets hit by a bug. And now they're all gone. So we don't want to have 3 copies in the same place. We want to have them on 2 different media. Different media are things like your PC's hard drive, USB flash drive. It could be printed off. If you had something really important, you could tattoo it to your face, although I'd advise you against that one. Any way of recording it is a media, and we want to make sure it's on 2 different media. So I've got 3 copies of a document. I've got 2 on my laptop, 1 on a USB stick. I take both to work with me. I stick them both in my laptop bag, and I leave them both on the train. So we've got a problem. We need to have them on 2 different media, but we can't have those 2 different media in the same place. So what I mean by this is one of them needs to be stored separately from the other. And that means if something happens to one, it's not going to affect the others. So it could be I stay with my 2 copies on my laptop and 1 on my USB stick, and then my house burns down. They're both in my study, and they both go up in flames. One has to be off-site. So there's several ways that we could do this. You could bury something at the end of your garden. It's probably not going to be an ideal way of doing it. If you've got friends or relatives, you could print things off and store them with them. Again, it's not brilliant. It's going to cost a lot in printing. It's going to be a real nuisance if you're making changes to a document. You're going to have to go and say, I need a copy of this one back because that's no longer right. Here's the new copy. It's not brilliant. We have, thankfully, got a really good way of being able to make a backup of our data whilst using this 3-2-1 rule and whilst making it really easy for you. And that is backup to the cloud. The cloud is something which sounds really complicated if you've not used it before, although I know many people have. If you've not used it before, I'll give a little explanation. Cloud computing is where you save things through the internet to another computer. Ordinarily, it's going to be to the server of a cloud storage organization. So it might be something like iCloud if you use Apple, Google Drive, OneDrive if you're on Microsoft, Dropbox. All you're doing is you're saving it through the internet to your own account with these providers. And that means that if something happens to a copy on your phone, or you can log into your account on any other device and you'll be able to access it. So if you accidentally drop your phone or your phone's stolen, it doesn't matter because the photos or whatever it is that you're worried about aren't stored on your phone. They're stored in your cloud storage account. Now, how does this meet the 3-2-1? Well, the cloud storage provider doesn't just have one server. They've got lots of servers, and your data is going to be being stored on multiple servers at the same time. So it's saved to several different computers. That's all a server is. And when I say computers, they are massive. There are lots of places throughout the UK and the Republic of Ireland and throughout the world where you can go to like an out-of-town industrial estate and you'll see a warehouse. That warehouse might be owned by Google, and inside is just a massive computer. That's one of these servers, so it could be stored there. So maybe it's stored outside Birmingham. It might also be being stored just outside Cork in the Republic of Ireland, and maybe it's also outside, I don't know, Reykjavik in Iceland. So it will be on several different PCs at the same, several different servers at the same time. It won't just be static, so it's not just going to be on those three. It might come off the Reykjavik one and go to one in Madrid, and vice versa. And that way, we've got some real resilience. If it was stored on one big server and there was a problem, that server caught fire, then we're going to lose our data. So it's stored on several at the same time. It's in two different media because it's on a physical server, a physical hard drive in Cork, and it's on a physical hard drive, the server in Birmingham. So we've got two different media, one off-site, or they're both off-site from you. So actually, if something happens to where you are, or if something happens to where one of them is, you've always got a copy. All you need to do to use cloud computing is make an account with one of the cloud storage providers, and you need a username, that'll be your email address, get your email address, and a strong password. We've got some videos on how to make strong passwords, and that's it. And then you can start saving things to the cloud. With all of these, you'll get some free storage, and once you've used that, you can buy more storage. It's not expensive to buy cloud storage. It is actually very cheap at the moment. Buying any extra cloud storage, but it's well worth if you find that you've got to the limit of your cloud storage, having a little clean through, getting rid of some of the stuff first before you upgrade it, just help you keep your costs down. And that's really all you need to know about it. Now, for some people, I know that still seems really complicated and scary, but actually, just by virtue of having an account on my.lead, I know that you're already using cloud computing. Because all of your results on my.lead are stored on my.lead servers, not on your PC. So if you're downloading your certificates, you might have a copy of that certificate on your computer, but we've also got a copy of that on our server. But more importantly, to make an account with MyLead, you need to have an email address. And if you've got an email account, you've been using cloud computing for as long as you've had that email account. Email is a really good classic example of cloud computing. Your emails aren't stored on your phone. You know that if you lose your phone, you'll be able to log into your email account and find your emails again like that. And that's all cloud computing is. So the 3-2-1 rule is a really important way of keeping your data safe. We can do it very easily by saving stuff to the cloud. As long as you've got an internet connection, it's going to be making automatic copies as well. So you don't need to do this at the end of the day or anything like that, provided you've got an internet connection. You take some photos, they're going to be backed up on the cloud straight away. If you don't have the internet connection, they'll be backed up on the cloud when you next connect to the internet. So if you're out and about and you don't have any signal, it won't back them up then. But as soon as you're back home, you'll get a backup. And that's all you need to do. It's really simple and really easy to make sure that your data is safe against accidental loss, file corruption, and more importantly, ransomware, just by saving to the cloud. Like I said, if you want to find out any more about passwords, we've got a video on passwords. We've got loads of resources on my.lead. Thank you very much for watching this video. Do like, subscribe, follow us for more content, and check out our social media and the rest of the stuff on my.lead for more on cyber safety. Till next time, thanks.